Alright, today we'll look at some fundamental operations with complex numbers. Operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, let's start with addition. Let's say that we have a complex number z1 equals to x1 plus y1, and we have another complex number z2 equals to x2 plus y2. Now, if we want to perform an additional operation on this complex number, so addition, let's write addition. For the addition, is going to be z1 plus z2. First, what is z1? z1 is x1 plus y1, then plus, you can put it in bracket, z2, which is x2 plus y2. What do you do next? So you have x1 plus y1 plus x2 plus y2. What you do now is you bring the real numbers. The real number, of course, is the x, and the imaginary part is the I. So we have x1 plus x2, then plus y1 plus y2. Then we're going to have x1 plus x2 plus I is common to both, so you can factorize I, and you have y1 plus y2. So this is the addition. Let's go to subtraction. For subtraction, we have z1 minus z2. For z1 minus z2 is going to be x1 plus y1, then minus x2 plus y2. Now the reason why we are using this subtraction here is because this minus sign here is because of we are performing we are subtracting the two complex number from each other. Okay, so subtraction will be very different. Subtraction is not like addition. So let's open the bracket. We are going to have x1 plus y1, then minus x2. That's minus, if minus open this bracket, so minus times x2, you are going to have minus x2, then minus times this plus, you are going to have minus, then minus y2. Then what do you have? You are going to have x1 minus x2 plus y1 minus y2, which will give you x1 minus x plus I into y1 minus y2. So this is simply subtraction, how to perform the subtraction. For multiplication, we have z1 multiplied by z2. What is z1? z1 is x1 plus y1, then multiply by x2 plus y2. What do you do next? So let's open the brackets. It's very simple. So you pick this first one, that is x1 into x2 plus y2, then plus y1 into x2 plus y2. Then you have x1 times x2 will give you x1, x2, x1 multiplied by y2, you're going to have plus x1 y2, then plus y1 times x2, you're going to have x2 y1, then plus times plus, which is going to give you plus, then I times I is going to be I squared, then you're going to have y1 y2. Okay, then you have x1 x2 plus, you notice here that I is common to both, so you're going to have I into x1 y2, then plus x2 y1, and close the bracket. Now don't forget that I squared, according to what we did, you remember that we said square root of minus 1 is equal to I, and by the time you take the square of both sides, if you take the square of both sides, then you are going to have that I squared is equal to minus 1. So this is I squared, so which is going to give you what? That's minus 1 into y1 y2. then you have x1 x2 plus I into x1 y2 plus x2 y1 then minus y1 y2. So now this is real number, this is real number, so but this one having I, they are imaginary numbers. So we put all the real numbers to one side and imaginary to the other. So we simply say we rearrange. So by rearranging, we have x1 x2 minus y1 y2 plus I into x1 y2 plus x2 y1. So that is the multiplication. Okay, let's go to the division. When you have division, that's z1 divided by z2. Very easy too. You have x1 plus I y1 because that's your z1, then your z2 is going to be x2 plus I plus y2. Okay, you remember in sort there's something called rationalizing by the denominator. So let's rationalize this by the denominator. We are going to have x1 plus I y1 divided by x2 plus I y2, then multiply by x2, then this addition sign is going to change to minus, so it's going to be minus I y2 then over x2 minus I y2. Then you're going to have, now let's multiply. So the numerator will multiply the numerator and the denominator will multiply the denominator. So we are going to have that x1 into x2 minus I y2 then plus I y1 into x2 minus I y2, then everything divided by x2 into x2 minus I y2, then plus I1 y2 into x2 minus I y2, so which is going to be, that's x1 x2, then this times this is going to give you minus I x1 y2 then plus I y1 x2, then this is going to be minus, then your I square, you're going to have I square, then you have y1 y2, then divided by, you're going to have x squared x2 squared because x2 times x2 is going to give you x2 squared, then minus I x2 y2, then plus I x2 y2, then you have minus I squared y2 squared. So this from this will give you 0. Then you have x1 x2, then you notice that minus is common, plus I is common, so you can take I, then you have minus x1 y2 then plus y1 x2 close the bracket. Don't forget that your I square is minus 1, so you write it minus 1, then you have y1 y2 divided by, you have x2 squared minus, what is I square? I square is also minus 1, then you have y2 squared, which is going to give you x1 x2 then plus y1 y2, because minus times minus will give you plus, so y1 y2 then plus I into, you can simply rearrange it to now look like x2 y1, which is this one here, then minus x1 y2, then you have x2 squared minus, that's plus y2. So this is simply the division of a complex number. Examples: given that z1 is equals to 3 plus 4i and z2 is equals to 2 plus 5i, we have to find z1 plus z2, z1 minus z2, z1 times z2, and z1 divided by z. So z1 plus z2, so you can simply use that formula, so which is going to be 3 plus 4i then plus 2 plus 5i, so which is going to be, that's 3 plus 2, so you add the real with the real and the imaginary with the imaginary, so it's going to be 4i plus 5i, so which is going to be 5 plus 9i. I hope that's clear enough. Then we have z1 minus z2. z1 minus z2 will definitely give you, you're going to have 3 plus 4i, which is the z1, then minus, you have to put it in bracket because of that minus. It's going to affect everything. Okay, so let's put it in brackets. So we're going to have 3 plus 4i, then minus times 2 give you minus 2, then plus times minus will give you minus, and that's minus 5i. Then you have 3 minus 2, that's the real numbers, then we have plus 4i minus 5i. These ones are the imaginary, because the combination of real and imaginary gives complex number. So we have 3 minus 2 give you 1, then minus, because 4i minus 5i is what, or 1i. Okay, so let's do for the next one, which is the, so let's multiply. Then we have z1 multiplied by z2. So what's our z1? Our z1 is 3 plus 4i into z2 is what, 2 plus 5i. So let's multiply. We're going to have 3 into 2 plus 5i, close bracket, then plus 4i into 2 plus 5i. 2 times 3 will give you 6, and plus 3 times 5 will give you 15i, then plus 4i times 2 will give you 8i, then plus 4i times 5i will give you 20i squared. Then you have 6 plus 15i plus 8i, then plus, 20i of course is minus, 20i squared is minus 1. That's I squared is minus 1. So you're going to have 6 plus 15 plus 8. 15 plus 8 is 23. 23i, then minus 20. So 6 minus 20 plus 23i. 6 minus 20 is minus 14 plus 23i. So that's all. Okay, let's go for the division. z1 divided by z2. What is our z1? z1 is 3 plus 4i divided by 2 plus 5i. Okay, so the next thing is you're going to have that 3 plus 4, 3 plus 4i, then divided by 2 plus 5i multiplied by 2 minus 5i divided by 2 minus 5i. So let's multiply. So let's multiply. We are going to have that 3 into 2 minus 5i, then plus 4i into 2 minus 5i, then divided by 2 into 2 minus 5i plus 5i into 2 minus 5i. So which will give us 2 times 3 is going to be 6 minus 15i plus 8i, then minus 20i squared divided by 4. 2 times 2 is 4, then minus 10i, 2 times 5i, then plus 10i, that's 5i times 2, then minus 25i squared. So we are going to have 6 minus 15i plus 8i. Minus 15i plus 8i should give us 7. That's minus 7i. We're going to have minus 7i, then minus 20i squared divided by 4. This, of course, this will subtract, this will become 0, then you have minus 25i squared. And you know that 6 minus 7i, what is I squared? I squared is always minus 1. So divided by 4 minus 25 into minus 1. Then what do you have? You're going to have 6 minus 7i plus 20, because minus times minus will give you plus, and 20 times 1 will give you 20. Then we have 4. This is going to be minus times minus will give you plus, and 25 times 1 is going to give you 25. So we can arrange the real. This is real. These are real numbers, so you take them together. So it's going to be 6 plus 20, then minus 7i. Then you have 4 plus 25 is 29. So finally you are going to have 26 minus 7i over 29. So you can split it to be in this form. The form of x is equals to x plus iy. So if we do it that way, we have 26 divided by 29 minus 7i divided by 29. So that's your answer. Thank you very much for watching. If you find this video very helpful, do it to like, do it to comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe.